This podcast is brought to you by the Alien Soda Company, your connection to pop culture and paranormal-themed merch. AlienSodaCompany.shop for all things out of this world.
All right, guys, on this episode of the Paranormal Mind podcast, we are going to be talking about the Highgate Vampire.
Ooh, I love vampires.
Ooh, I love a vampire.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Paranormal Mind podcast. How are y'all doing?
What's up, everybody? I'm like,
Yeah, that shit gives me
trigger
a
finger
headache.
today.
That gives me a headache. So what's been going on, man? You doing okay?
I'm doing great, man. I feel great.
How are you doing, Mandy, the producer over there?
I'm here. George Bailey's across the room, so I'm feeling
That's
like
right.
I'm missing him.
That's right. Is your camera working this time?
Yes.
All right, finally. That's
No,
great.
I'm a slacker.
Yep. How dare you, man? You're supposed to be on top of things.
Jeez.
Silencing the women.
That's it.
That's what I try to do.
That's you. That's you all the time. That's Josh Purvis, if I ever heard. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, man. So let's dive into the story. Okay. It's a wild story about the Highgate Vampire in London, right? You ever heard of it?
Never heard of it, but I like vampires.
I want to ask, I don't want to ask you your fictional boyfriend of the week, but do we have a favorite fictional vampire
What?
that you guys
Me?
like? Yeah.
Dracula.
Men.
Man.
She's like Edward
Okay.
Cullen.
So who is yours, Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt?
Ew,
Which
I
one?
don't like Tom Cruise ever.
Yeah, she really does.
I do
Really?
not like Tom
What?
Cruise.
I
No.
think he's fascinating. I like that.
I
He
don't
does
like
his
him
own-
either,
No.
though.
He does his own
no,
stunt.
no,
he's,
no.
he's talented, but I don't like him.
Mine are Hudson Vega and Klaus Michelson.
Who are those?
Hudson Vega is from the Crave series.
Yeah, never heard of him.
Excellent. And then Klaus Michelson is from the Vampire Diaries and the originals.
He's a terrible person.
The
He is
underworld.
not.
The underworld. The
Ooh.
underworld lady.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I
Kate
forgot.
Beckinsale, but what's
Ooh.
her name? I liked the Lycans.
Dang, now I need to watch the Underworld.
Now
I'm
the
excited
original.
for them.
Now the underworlds after that were kind
What
of
was her
crappy,
name?
but the original one
It's good.
was freaking great.
It's good.
Freaking great.
Celine.
Celine. That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was an
That was a
awesome
good
movie.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, like, you know, because I've got like a 5 head. I look like a or like a werewolf in mid morph. So if you so if you watch the Underworld, the original, like, you know, when they're like in mid morphing, like their heads get kind of
Yeah.
elongated. That's how my head looks. So
God.
yeah. Anyway,
Dracula.
so every time I have pictures taken of me and stuff, I'm like, holy shit, I look like I'm in mid morph right now.
You could do emo bangs.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't
Tonight
look-
will be
and
the
get-
night that
Oh,
I will
shit.
fall for you.
No,
Over
no,
again.
my head is so oversized, like I have to have like it pointed up or it looks even worse. It's horrible. All right. So anyway, you've got this old cemetery, Highgate, that opened back in the 1800s. It's this super eerie place, gothic vibes all over. Now, fast forward to the 60s and 70s, and people start talking about seeing this tall, shadowy dude with these insane hypnotic eyes just chilling in the graveyard. Sounds like something out of a movie. For real. Now, things go nuts in 1970 when a local newspaper, the Hampstead and Highgate Express, start putting out articles about this supposed vampire. The story just blows up, man. It really does. Suddenly, you've got all these people, vampire hunters, curious locals, even thrill seekers, all running around the cemetery at night. That sounds like, you know,
That's me.
us now. Yeah. But here's where it gets even crazier. There are these two dudes, David Ferrant and Sean Manchester. Both claim they've encountered this vampire, right? Ferrant's out there thinking it's more like a ghost or something, while Manchester is convinced it's a legit vampire. Manchester even writes a book about it, saying the vampire was some medieval nobleman from Romania who dabbled in black magic.
Sounds hot.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Here we go.
Jeez
No, but I do love
Louise.
that each episode that we have recorded today has had a book either written
Yeah.
or related to it
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yep.
That's cool.
So if you suck blood and you're into black magic, Mandy thinks you're hot as shit.
Check out the incoherent thin girl.
Yeah, check out the incoherent
I forgot
fangirl.
who I was with.
Yeah.
It's not Karen. It's not going to land as well.
So anyway, with all this hype, the cemetery starts getting trashed. People breaking into tombs, and then on a Friday the 13th in March 1970, a whole mob decides to go on a vampire hunt.
Ow, I love it.
Kill the
Yeah.
beast.
Oh yeah, I like it.
What I don't love about it is all the vandalism and all that stuff.
That's true.
Did you
you
know
know.
we have a vampire in Macon?
We do.
No, I did not.
We do.
In that cemetery we walked you through? And you guys took photos
Rose
there
Hill?
one time, Rose Hill.
Mhm.
There's like this wall of crypts, basically, but there's one that has no markings, but it's completely bricked shut. And there is like,
Oh, that's right.
local
Yeah.
lore.
You showed
Yeah.
me that.
is that the
Yeah.
vampire is in there and he got bricked in, so he couldn't get out, which no vampire that I've ever heard of cannot break through some brick. But
That's true.
That's wild. That's wild. So,
He wakes up and he's like, "What the hell is this?"
oh, I've been sleeping for a while. So, over the years, the legend sticks around, mostly fueled by Ferrant and Manchester, who keep butting heads and sharing their own stories. So, one believes it's a ghost, one believes it's vampire. Today, Highgate Cemetery leans into its spooky rep and attracts a lot of tourists. So they're leaning into it. They're smart about it.
Yep.
They're getting the tourism and all that
Maybe
stuff.
you'll spot the vampire.
That's right. So look, many people think the whole thing is a mix of supernatural stuff, media hype, and some personal beef between a few locals. But for others, the vampire was no joke. Regardless, it's a wild story from London. The late 60s and 70s were a pretty wild time in the UK, with a rise in occultism and all sorts of paranormal beliefs. Highgate Cemetery, with its overgrown, creepy look, was like a perfect backdrop for supernatural tales.
Nice.
So there's a few more details that I want to talk about, right? So number one is the sightings. So the earliest reported sightings were just of the vampire figure. People also talked about seeing other ghostly apparitions, including a tall man in a hat, spectral cyclist, which is weird. That's a first. A face glaring through the bars of a gate, and a floating woman in white. And we hear about a lot of women in white.
Right. Yeah.
Some folks even reported feeling sudden drops in temperature and being inexplicably frightened. All right. So the second thing we'll talk about is Ferrant versus Manchester. These two guys basically became the faces of the whole Highgate vampire situation. David Ferrant claimed that he saw a gray figure while passing the cemetery and later reported other bizarre incidents. Sean Manchester, on the other hand, was hardcore into the vampire theory. He said a local family even approached him because their daughter claimed she was being visited by the vampire, which is creepy.
That is creepy.
Unless she was having this hot moment like Mandy talks about.
Also,
there's an old man.
I just
at my
thought about
window.
this. Joshua Purvis lied over there.
Oh,
About
Lord.
Dracula, you liked Elijah on the Vampire Diaries.
I like Dracula more though.
And Bill from True.
Bill Compton.
Okay.
From True Blood. I didn't even think about True Blood, which is terrible.
Yeah, I almost said Eric Northman, but I love Klaus more.
They're still stuck on this vampire stuff.
Have you never watched True Blood?
You should.
No.
Well, I mean,
Oh, I mean, it got bad towards the end.
yeah,
but
it's not really that
everybody should
relevant
watch.
anymore. but-
Everyone over the age of 21 should watch True
Oh,
Blood.
okay.
Yeah.
Don't watch
a
it with
little-
your kids around.
Yeah, it's a little X-rated.
It's a little too hot.
Yeah. I like What We Do in the Shadows, though. That's a good.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good show.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched that.
You
See,
should.
there's a
It's
lot of
funny.
good vampire stories out there.
It's
is all
like
I'm
if The
saying.
Office had vampires in it, it'd be.
Oh, yeah. So Manchester believed the only way to stop the vampire was to find its coffin, stake it, and then behead and burn the body. Yeah, super old school stuff.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the media's role for a minute. Let's see here. I love how this thing turned. This is so much better. This mic setup is so much better. I love it. All right. So the media's role. The media played a huge part in turning the vampire, the Highgate vampire, into a sensation. I can't talk right now. After the initial reports in the Hampstead and Highgate Express, the story got picked up by TV and radio stations, making it a national phenomenon. It was like a viral thing before the internet. Number 4, let's talk about the vampire hunt. That mob on Friday the 13th that we were talking about, well, they caused a lot of problems. Local authorities had to deal with the damage to the cemetery, and the event played a part in stricter laws about trespassing in such places in the UK.
Listen, if you're going to go vampire hunting, clean up after yourself.
Exactly.
Jeez.
If you're going to tear up tombs, just don't.
Put it together a little bit. I mean,
Right. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Bad.
It's bad. So post 1970s, even after the 70s, Manchester and Ferrant continued to be at odds, each writing books and giving interviews. Both maintained their own versions of the events until their respective deaths. So they were at odds with each other. And it sounds to me like they were competing with which book sounded better. To me, it was what it sounded like.
I
It's
just
crazy.
read my favorite thing that I've ever read.
Oh, no. What is it?
Apparently in 1973, they were going to settle the score with a magical duel.
Oh, hell yeah. Who's got
Dang.
who's got the best black magic?
Apparently it was supposed to be on Friday the 13th, but it never happened.
I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. If you're out there and you're going to have a magical duel, then
Somebody's got to throw out the Avada Kedavra.
I want to come film it. So just let me know.
The what?
Avada
Avada
Kedavra.
Kedavra.
What's
It's
that?
the death curse in Harry Potter.
Oh, that's right.
And then Ferrant went to jail for grave desecration a year later.
Amateur.
Yeah, probably trying to behead whatever the vampire was or whatever.
A magical duel.
Some
Oh my
random dude
God.
out there. You beheaded George.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
he
was Grandpa
also-
George. Why'd you do that?
Ferrant also ran for office as the sole candidate for his Wicca Workers' Party, which advocated nudity, free sex, the restoration of the Wiccan creed, the establishment of the state brothels, and
Oh,
outlawing communism and leaving the EU common market.
This bro is
This
wild.
dude,
So
this guy.
So here's the thing. There's a lot of people that think that, just our modern times, we were crazy. I mean, this has been
Back
going
then.
on for a very long time.
We've been crazy for a
It's
long time.
It's
Thank you.
been going on for a very long
Yeah.
time. So some believe the whole thing was just mass hysteria, which we've talked about on
Right.
previous episodes.
Right.
Others think it was genuine paranormal activity, and some just see it as a quirky part of London's history. Whatever it was, though, the Highgate Vampire story is one for the books.
All
Can
of the
you
above.
can you even imagine running into a vampire in a dark old cemetery? Like, that's some wild stuff. So anyway, that's the Highgate Vampire story. I'm cutting it
Yeah.
short because we've been filming for
Chat.
hours
We've been
now.
rambling
Y'all have
today.
been chatty.
Yeah.
We've been chatty today, but again, that goes back to what we were talking about before. Is there evil? Is there demons? Is there this and that?
Yeah.
Like
for
we could
sure.
say all day long, like I said before, like even with conspiracy theories and stuff, I think there's levels of truth, and then things get exaggerated along
Right.
the way. Is there a chance that there's some sort of vampire being out there? And yeah,
I
Yeah,
think that all of our
absolutely.
what we consider legends now have some basis, even if it's millennia ago. In fact,
yeah, oh
and
yeah,
that game of telephone
yep.
changes it into something that it's not. But I think that monsters used to exist. I think, I don't know.
I
They
want
probably
their-
still do.
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
some family members that
Well,
you know.
same. But no, I think that things like vampires and werewolves may have existed, may still exist. We don't know.
So, do you believe that, like in the narrative that we have for vampires or whatever, do you feel like that? What would your interpretation of what a vampire? What would you think a vampire really is if they do exist? Like their purpose, maybe of
I don't know.
Yeah,
I went down this weird rabbit hole like a month or so ago about there's like this whole belief of vampires in New Orleans too.
Oh, yeah.
oh, big time. Like hoodoo. There's like a hoodoo
yeah.
Yeah.
sect that. Yeah, there's a whole vampire
They have like a vampire bar. Or
I don't
something
know
there.
why they
Yeah.
would exist. I don't know.
to suck your blood,
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
tough.
yeah, but I don't know.
to live forever.
I mean,
Now-
I don't know why spiders exist, but here we are. Okay.
That's true.
Well, that was the question, though. Like,
yeah.
what's their
Right.
purpose?
Right.
I don't know.
So there's And of course, TikTok is kind of like overtaking everything nowadays.
Yeah.
But there's this guy on there.
He comes up all the time.
There's this guy on there that says that he's a vampire.
Is it
right?
the African American dude?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not
I've
the
seen
one
him.
I think of. There's another one.
It's the African American dude, but this guy is cool as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so if you don't
He did
believe,
his fangs
if
one
you
time.
don't-
That was
yeah.
cool.
See, like, if you're not a bajillionaire and you claim you're a vampire, you suck at life.
True.
Pun intended.
True.
But
But he was like, they were like, can you show us any old
Yeah.
pictures of you, right? So he goes and he like digs in this box in his garage and he's like, here's me. And it looks just like him. But it was like from the early 1900s. And I was like, man, this guy, if he's not an excellent storyteller,
Yeah.
or, I mean, if he's not this vampire dude, he's an excellent storyteller. Because
But hey,
this
isn't
guy,
that all the more fascinating though?
isn't
Yeah.
what is the actor? It's not Keanu Reeves. Isn't there
There's a lot of them that
Nicolas
all look
Cage
like
or whatever?
vampires.
No, where there will be a photo from like 1850.
Nicolas Cage.
Is
Yeah.
it Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
Where it's like that's literally who
That's
that
because he is immortal.
Don't torment me like that. I don't like Tom Cruise and I can't stand Nicolas Cage
Why?
or Will Ferrell. Noise.
Pack your things
Noise. Unless it's Anchorman or Step Brothers, Will Ferrell is noise.
and go. I just saw.
He
Well, hold
tried
on, hold
to
on.
tell me Elf is the best Christmas movie.
It is.
It is not. It is. It's a Wonderful Life. Then it's A Christmas Story. Then it's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh
A Year
my
Without a Santa
God.
Claus. Elf?
I just saw on TikTok.
And you said Step Brothers and Anchorman, and that's it?
Yes, those are the only Will
Get
Ferrell
out of
movies.
here.
He's just,
Ricky Bobby?
No.
Talladega
Nights?
No.
Oh my God! It put him on the map
Why?
because it's so good.
Why would they do that to the world?
Old school?
No.
Old school. That's
Oh,
true.
come
So,
on.
I cannot
Truth be told, old school put him
stand
on the
him.
map,
I
and then
cannot
Talladega
stand
Nights.
him.
Oh, wow. Will Ferrell?
I'm sure he's a nice person.
Will Ferrell,
I
if-
cannot stand him on TV. He's so
Don't worry, we'll tag him in the
Uncomfortable.
Yeah,
description.
Will Ferrell, I know that you listen to our podcast all
Send
the
your
time.
complaints.
We're so sorry for our producer, Mandy. She's fired.
they just I don't get the slapstick style. Like I don't like it.
It's called
I'm sure
comedy.
he's great. I didn't like him on The Office. His season of The Office
What?
was terrible.
He was
Josh,
great.
don't you even
He is
pretend.
awesome.
He was
He's
great.
Not.
He is so good.
Are you kidding?
He is so good.
You would rather watch that than Michael Scott or when Andy became
no, that's not what I said.
No. So Michael Scott
the
is,
series went
I mean, Michael Scott is freaking The Office. Okay,
but Will Ferrell did a good job.
he did. He did.
the juggling.
I was just thinking that it's
Wait,
so good.
I saw a TikTok
Juggling with
yesterday.
nothing.
I'm sorry, Shane. We're making this so long. There was a guy
It's only
juggling
like
3
20
apples,
minutes.
and every time he would get one,
He would take a bite. I saw
That's
that.
impressive.
I saw that. It is impressive as shit.
Funniest thing
It's
I've
called
ever
the Hungry Juggler or something like that. All you hear
Is that what he's called?
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah, no Will Ferrell for me, and I don't. I
The
can't
bluish
stand Elf.
hue.
I can't do it.
And you don't like Nicolas Cage?
No. That's what I always
You
think
better.
of him.
So Josh, you better zoom in. You
Please
better
do that
zoom
again.
in.
Do that one more
not
time.
doing it
No,
again.
no.
That's what he does.
No, when you edit, you better zoom in on that face. That was hilarious.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't know. I didn't
Nicolas
see it
Cage.
very well. You need to
Nicolas
do it again.
Cage is pretty annoying. He really
I'll
is.
give him Raising Arizona.
Yeah, but he knows that he is
He
now.
makes
So
me
like he
watch-
makes movies.
Night at the Museum, isn't that him?
That's
No, what's the one he does?
National Treasure,
National Treasure.
which are also good
No.
movies.
No.
Thank you very much,
No.
ma'am.
Cheesy.
And
You've done
Nicolas
enough here.
Nicolas Cage was like superb in Face Off. Okay, with
Yeah,
John
that's
Travolta.
true, yeah.
My very first
And
childhood crush was
The
John
Rock.
Travolta.
The Rock was
Is
great.
an amazing movie.
The Rock was
I
Sean
thought you were
Connery.
talking about The Rock.
Wasn't Sean Connery in that?
yeah.
Yeah, it was
I thought you
great.
were talking
Him
about
and
Dwayne
Nick Cage.
Johnson.
No,
I also don't like Vin Diesel.
I don't either.
I mean,
I get it.
I don't think Vin Diesel
Like,
likes Vin Diesel.
how many Fast and the Furious are you gonna have?
It's all about the
Seriously.
family.
One was enough. My sister is going to listen to this and cry.
He does it for family. Family.
How did we get from? Maybe they're all vampires.
Probably.
Maybe they're all like that's why they're successful and they're rich and all that stuff, is maybe they just like reincarnate, or we think they die off and then there's another one that comes
It's
up.
like the Cullens do. They just move
So,
around.
like, you made this mention about like being rich. Like, if you were that old, you'd probably have plenty of money, but you'd never show it because,
Right,
like,
that's
what's
true.
the point?
Well, not just
What is
that.
the point in
well,
any
not
of
just
it?
that, but if you can live forever and you know that
Yeah.
that's not going to be
You're
a
the
deal,
one
why
controlling
would
the
you need
government.
money?
Yeah, why do you even need
Why
it?
would you
yeah,
need the
that's
money?
true.
You could just go off and do your thing, and you're never going to die anyway. So
It's not a vampire, but I have a book recommendation called
Oh,
The
here we
Invisible
go.
Life of Addie LaRue, or it's by V.E. Schwab. And it's about this girl who, I don't remember how it happens, but she like wishes that she could live forever. And she like hates her little, she's born in like 1700s France, and she's miserable in this little provincial town, like Beauty and the Beast. But the curse of the gift that she's given in eternal life is the second someone's eyes are off of her, they forget her.
Ooh.
So no one remembers her, and she moves around, and so she can't get a job because as soon as her boss turns around,
I got
she
some
doesn't
people in my
exist.
life now that I wish
Yeah.
that they could look away and forget me.
and then she gets to like our day and age, and there's one dude who can remember her. And so she like goes into his bookstore to steal a book, and he like chases her, and he's like, you know, she loses sight of him, he loses sight of her, and he's still following her.
Oh,
and so
how
it's like, how is this?
romantic.
Why is this?
how romantic.
It didn't end up
well.
being so great, but I mean, the book is great.
Don't
but
spoil it.
the book is
I want
great.
to know. I
but
was going to read that.
You're
next.
not going to read that.
he did read a book recently.
I know. I heard that. I was like, holy hell. How
About
did
dragons.
Yeah,
that? Oh, that's
he read
why.
Fourth Wing.
When she says read, I listen to an audiobook.
Oh,
Just
okay.
so we're clear.
It
Okay.
still counts.
So do you
Okay.
remember any of it?
He had a whole
Actually,
discussion
yeah.
with
Like,
me
it
about
was-
it.
I mean, for what it was a very well written book. It's entertaining.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How many minutes are we in?
21. I mean, I think we're good.
That's good
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's the Highgate Vampire. I know it. We didn't go into too much of depth, but Georgie over here is telling us to wrap it up.
yeah, he's
He
like,
said he's hungry.
God, look at him. He's furious.
Are you
But-
going to be a vampire?
He's like, Mom, what are you
But
talking about?
like we always say, we really do appreciate y'all. Thank you for listening.
y'all
and,
are awesome.
and taking time out of your schedule to listen to our ramblings.
Yeah.
We appreciate you more than you know. Please go check out our sponsor, aliensodacompany.shop.
For all things out of this world.
That's right. And if you're not a Patreon member, why aren't you a
Yeah.
Patreon member? Go to patreon.com/searchersbelieve. Sign up for that $25 a month tier,
Yes, sir.
because then you'll be entered to win some really cool paranormal equipment and some trips.
Coupon codes to our shop, you name it.
With
We're
some
always
pretty
trying to
cool
do
merch.
more and more
pretty cool
stuff.
merch.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
designed by Miss Mandy Purvis.
Yep.
So, go check it out. If you would like to support us on Patreon, please do that. We would appreciate that. You don't have to. If you just want to listen to the audio version, it's wherever you listen to podcasts, and
Every
that's free.
Friday. Yep.
And join us on our social medias and all that stuff, and
Come talk
share
to us.
Yeah, share your thoughts on these episodes and
Yeah.
what you think of the topics. But until the next episode, guys, searchers out.
See ya.